is the only thing that you seem to know. And you thought that you'd be safe in your tower.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're situated on this great, big, beautiful blue globe, floating through the void of Yah's creation. TGIF, it's Friday, the 14th of August, 2026. These are the WTFReports.com.
You won't be trusted anymore.
All right, welcome to the Friday edition of the WTF Reports. I'm your host, Dave vonKleist, and yeah, I got lots of facts. And right off the bat, I do want to mention that, yes, I did a replay yesterday. Had a lot of stuff going on. As you regular listeners know, that I'm a musician, and I play local venues, and I play at the assisted living complexes in the area here. And, yeah, because I'm old. What can I say? I do the oldies, and the old folks love it. So I had an afternoon engagement at a local assisted living complex, and it was a lot of fun. And then had a gig last night at a local venue, and that was fun, too. So anyway, I just had a lot of stuff going on, so that's why I had a replay yesterday. So Wednesday's show was videotaped. And if you are curious to, if you were listening on Wednesday and you want to see with your own eyeballs the videos and documents that I was sharing, you can go to our website, TheWTFReports.com, and scroll down and you'll see all the posts there, and you can watch the video. So I'm just I've been talking about this for quite some time, getting my feet wet into turning this into an actual podcast. With the documents, et cetera, and I got to tell you, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, I'm finding that out firsthand how that works. Learning new programs and plugins and drop downs and stuff like that, and I'm still having some gremlins in the system. But anyway, I'm getting it figured out. So anyway, that said, it's Friday, so we're going to have open lines today. If you want to call in, you're welcome to do so. 215-867-8255. And before we get started, I would just want to get a little philosophical. Maybe I'm just going to be, I don't know, maybe a little naive or utopian or whatever word you want to put on it. But I've got a little philosophy here I want to share with you. Okay, now we know that we've got some real problems in this world. We're getting hit from the front, from the back, from the left, from the right, from the top to the bottom. Everything is just crazy. It's craziness. And I can't help but think that it all comes down to people's personal beliefs. And whether they be religious or philosophical or what have you, the bottom line here is that if you look at history, you will find that almost every war that has ever been fought in the history of humanity always comes down to your own personal religious beliefs. I mean, we've been hearing about, well, just look at history. There's always war about my God is bigger than your God. And I'm going to see if I can't make this real simple. If you've got two people who both claim to have the truth, and but they disagree, then the best case scenario, I mean, either this guy's right and the other guy's wrong, or the other guy's right and this guy's wrong, okay? But they both can't be right. That's the way it is with the truth. The truth is you're either pregnant or you're not pregnant. There's not mostly pregnant or a little bit pregnant, okay? You're either pregnant or you're not pregnant. And that's the way it is with the truth. So if we apply that towards the denominations, let's just say, of Christianity, okay, we know that there's all kinds of Christian churches and beliefs. There's Catholics, there's Protestants, there's Baptists, there's Mormons, there's all kinds of denominations. And so if you apply that philosophy, if there is only one truth, and if you've got, oh, God knows how many denominations are, let's say there's 2,000, just for a number, okay? You got 2,000 different denominations of Christianity. They all claim to have the ultimate truth, okay? So, either one of them is right and 1,999 of them are wrong, or they're all wrong. And that's the way I see it. And you can apply that towards not just Christianity, but, Islam, Judaism, any religion that you want to put in there, okay? So, because we know that there's all different kinds of sects in Islam, Muslims, there's Sunnis and Shias and all kinds of, okay? Same thing could be said about Judaism, all right? There's lots of different kinds of Jews out there. So, bottom line here is if this applies towards Christianity, like I just said, if the truth is ultimate, it's either truth or it's not, and you've got all these denominations of Christianity, that means only one of them has got the truth, but I contend that none of them do. None of them are 100% right. And if you apply that towards Islam, I think it would apply. And you can apply that towards Judaism, and I think that would apply. So, let's even take a 30,000-foot look at all the religions, all right? I would contend that none of them are 100% true. Now, I know that's going to ruffle some feathers. Some people are going to say, how dare you say that, Dave? How could you possibly say that? Well, okay, let's just take a look at Christians for a second here. Okay, I know lots of Christians. I've lived all over the country. I've known Baptists and Protestants. I've known all kinds of Christians. And some of them are very devout. I mean, I know some Catholics, they go to church on Wednesdays and Sundays. Okay, and I know some Christians, they go to church on Saturday because they believe that that's the Sabbath. Okay, and I would be more inclined to believe that and to agree with them because that's what the book says. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The bottom line here is that there are some Christians don't go to church at all. All right, so this is why I'm saying now you apply that towards Muslims. Okay, there are a lot of Muslims out there. Yeah, they're on their knees 5 times a day, facing Mecca. Okay, and then there are others out there that don't really practice that much. I know a few Muslims in my area here, and they're not doing that. Okay, and I know a bunch of Jews that don't go to synagogue on Saturday. So the point is that we've got all these different levels of belief and practice, et cetera, and if that's the case. And if the concept of God is different to everybody, and I'm sure it is, I mean, some people actually believe that there's a guy in a white robe and a long beard that's up there and, directing traffic. I don't believe that, all right? But the point is that all of these religions, every single one of them, I would say not one of them has 100% truth. Not one of them has a 100% absolute connection to deity, to God, to what have you. All right? And if that's the case, then we have to humble ourselves. All right? And I'm looking right now at what's the situation here is in this country. We've got a real problem because there's one particular group of individuals that obviously have taken control of our country. Now, it just happens to be a connection to Israel. Now, this is a fact, and this is not a question. This is not anti-Semitism. Don't even go there. That's got nothing to do with it. It has to do with this particular group of people who subscribe to that particular religion, who believe in Zionism. Now, Zionism is not a religion. It is not a theology. It is political dogma. And this has been out there, this has been out there for quite some time. Lots of people now are talking about this. And so a lot of folks are saying, well, what is Zionism? And there's a lot of Zionist Christians out there, Christian Zionism. I look at pastors like John Hagee. I don't know what happened to him 30 years ago. He was pounding the table up against the New World Order, and I was right there with him. And anyway, a lot of these pastors have now, cleaved unto Zionism. So what the heck is Zionism? Zionism came about in the late 1800s. Theodore Herzl is noted as the founder of Zionism. We know that there were the concept of Zionism was percolating around before he got it really established. But the idea here that Zionism, and if you look at the Balfour Declaration, It was to establish a Zionist state of Israel. All right. So what makes, the Jewish religion Zionist? All right. Well, the point is that we have to figure out what Zionism is. And I've explained this. And again, I'm being over simplistic here. I'm real cut and dry. I'm a real simple guy. But Zionism, the way I see it, and if you go by the description in the Balfour Declaration, a Zionist state is a particular area or nation, well, not nation, it's a state, that only allows one particular group of people with a belief, okay? In this case, the Balfour Declaration was going to, create a Zionist state of Israel. And it just so happened, the way it worked out, they ended up claiming Palestine. And that's what's going on over there. So what is a Zionist state? Well, let's say that we were going to turn the United States into the United Zionist States of America. So we would take the 50 different states and we would categorize each one. And like I say, let's say we're going to take California and turn California into the Zionist Catholic state of California. So if you're Catholic, you can move to California. And if you're not Catholic, you have to move out of California. And not only do you move out, but you have to leave everything behind and let the Catholics come in and take your home, take all your possessions, etc., etc. And if you dare protest, they get to kill you. Let that settle in. Okay, so that's going to be the Catholic state of California. So we'll make the Protestants, well, we better put the Protestants away from the Catholics because we know that they always fight amongst themselves. So we'll put a buffer zone between them, and so we'll make Washington state the Zionist Protestant state of Washington. So if you're Protestant, you get to move to Washington state. If you're not Protestant, you have to vacate the premises, leave everything behind, and if you dare protest, the Protestants get to kill you. All right, so this is the way I see it. I know it's oversimplistic here, but that's exactly what's going on in Palestine. They want to have a Zionist Jewish state, and they're basically have claimed Palestine. And I mean, and the thing is now we have to say, well, what kind of Jews are they? Are they Hasidic Jews? I mean, there's so many different denominations of Judaism. Well, it just so happens that we're talking about the Talmudic Jews, the Ashkenazi. All right. Now, if you don't subscribe to that, now again, this has got nothing to do with being an anti-Semite, because Semitic, if you look it up, that has to do with a group of people who speak a Semitic language, and that would include the Arabs. So this whole thing about anti-Semitism, this is just horse-hockey BS. But it's been used as a tool to discredit and ridicule and attack anybody who dares go against the Zionists who are taking over Palestine. And they're really working really hard to equate and link the two. So if you criticize Zionism, well, then you must be a Jew-hating anti-Semite. But that's not the case at all. I've got some good friends who happen to be Jews, and they detest and are disgusted and condemn what's going on over there in Israel. But anyway, here's an audio clip here. This is the World Jewish President, Ron Lauder, and he was basically telling everybody what you have to do to protect to fight against anti-Semitism. Okay, here's what he had to say.
We're in the fight of our lives, and this is how we will fight back. First, we must use social media, because that's what young people follow. And I must tell them that you must tell them the truth. Israel must finally get serious about public relations. If Israel can't tell its amazing story to the world, then its enemies will, and they've done it now. We must expose every renegade teacher and their unions. We must expect moral courage from our political officials, not excuses. We must rebuild education around truth, not slogans and lies. We will have to reinvent how we teach the history of the Jewish people because it's not working. Too many young people have never heard of the Holocaust. The World Jewish Congress has produced some excellent films that explain what happened.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there because a lot of folks now over the past couple of years, if you've been paying attention, a lot of people now have been examining, or shall I say re-examining, all of the information that's been shoved down the collective gullet of the American public for the past century. And that includes what happened in World War II. Now, God forbid I should be labeled as a Holocaust denier, but there's no doubt that there were atrocities committed on both sides during World War II. However, more and more people are putting the puzzle pieces together and saying, wait a second, the official narrative of the Holocaust, it doesn't hold water. So we do get to question what happened in World War II because, as you've heard many times before, history is written by those who hang the heroes. And if you apply that particular statement to what happened in World War II, it might make you cock your head to one side and go, eh? You know? Anyway, I'm going to let him continue because they're obviously shaking in their boots right now. He's just saying, just like Netanyahu was saying a few months ago, that social media, TikTok, yeah, they want to stop all of the posts that are going out there on social media, on TikTok and on Instagram and on X and Facebook, etc., etc. They've got to stop that truth from coming out because it's threatening the official narrative. And of course, we've all heard, 6 million, 6 million, 6 million, 6 million, 6 million, 6 million. That's been going on. It went on for decades before World War II. I don't know what it is about that magic number, but boy, that magic number, 6 million, is real important to a certain group of people. But then, then there's also Holocaust Memorial, Holocaust movies, Holocaust, pounding that particular narrative into the psyche of an entire set of generations, mine included. Okay, and then there's the newest one, October 7th, and now we're finding out that is horse hockey as well. So anyway, I don't mean to go off on this here, but I'm going to let Ron Lauder go ahead and continue with his statement.
We want to show them in classrooms everywhere in the United States. And any candidate running for a seat in this building, whether for Congress or Senate, whose platform includes anti-Semitism, we will target them as they target us.
Okay, wait a second. It's not anti-Semitism. It's anti-Zionism. But like I said, they want to link the two together. If you dare criticize anything that the Ashkenazi Jews are doing, well, then you must be an anti-Semite. And again, I pointed this out numerous times that the Johns Hopkins University did an ancestry study and found that 97.5% of Israelis have Eastern European or North American heritage. They are not indigenous to the Middle East at all. And we know that Benjamin Netanyahu, his real name was Milikowski, and he is of Polish descent, Eastern Europe, and as is most of his cabinet, if not all of his cabinet. I had a list here, it was about a year old, but none of them are indigenous to the Middle East. So that means that they are imposters. They are not the Semites. By the way, the Johns Hopkins University did the same ancestry study on Palestinians and found that 80% of them are indigenous. They are the Semites. So it is the Israelis that are the anti-Semites. Everything is bass-ackwards. But then again, we shouldn't be surprised because the motto of the Israeli Mossad, and I have to assume the IDF, is, and I quote, "By means of deception thou shalt do war." By means of deception, they're going to lie. They're going to subvert. They're going to basically, pull the wool over everybody's eyes. And that's their main tool. Anyway, okay, let him finish up. Shut up, Dave.
Accordingly, we'll start a fund to help their opponents. We cannot possibly sit by and let anti-Zionists determine our future.
There it is, anti-Zionists. See, they don't want you to be against Zionism. It's a political dogma. Nobody's talking about you can't have your belief in the Old Testament and in the Torah, but we do have a problem with the action. It's always deeds and not words. And your deeds over there, I'm sorry, if you're one of the Israelis over there, your deeds suck.
None of this will be easy. It will take time and effort from all of us. And Jews cannot fight this fight alone. Frankly, we shouldn't have to, because this is not a Jewish issue. It's a democratic issue. It's a moral issue. It's a human issue.
A moral issue. Oh, I'm so glad he brought that up. The most moral army in the world. How many times have we heard that in regard to the IDF? And again, it's deeds, not words. So I have to look at the deeds that they have been they have been doing for the past almost 3 years now, and if that's what they consider moral, I have to really question what their morals are. And to criticize them, I mean, is this basically a common behavior of these type of people, and we can't criticize or condemn those types of actions like sniping children? Making toys with explosives in them? Yes, that's what they do. Making soccer balls that have explosives in them, and they put them out into the little Palestinian neighborhood, and some little boy comes along and he kicks the soccer ball, and boom, he's gone. And I also saw, maybe some of you have seen the little girl who's struggling to carry a water jug so she could get some water back to her family, and she gets droned. She's gone. Now, this is the most moral army in the world. The most moral army in the world that is fighting and demonstrating for the IDF to have the right to rape their prisoners. The most moral army in the world, using white phosphorus, dumping them on villages and burning people alive. The most moral army in the world, when they're they pretty much got the job done in Gaza. So let me see, where can we go now and kill more people? Oh, let's go to Lebanon. And they're doing the same thing there. And for whatever reason, and I think we all know what the reasons are, the American government, Republicans, Demopublicans, congressmen or congresspersons, senators, they are all goose-stepping along with Israel. Now, why do you suppose they're doing that? How is it that they've all been convinced that they have no choice but to support Israel? Maybe they were bribed. Maybe they were paid off through lobbying. And by the way, bribery and lobbying is the same thing. You can argue until the cows come home. It's the same damn thing. So if it's not bribery, maybe it's coercion. Maybe it's a threat to somebody's family. Of course, it's not beyond the scope of certain unscrupulous individuals, a very moral army. They would never threaten somebody's family unless they vote a certain way. They would never do that, now would they? Well, if it's not bribery and it's not coercion, maybe it's blackmail. Oh, the Epstein class. Yeah. I wonder how many of our elected officials are on videotape doing some nasty things to young boys or girls. I would contend most of them. As I've said many times before on this broadcast, when you're climbing the ladder of success, whether it be in the public sector or the private sector, eventually you're going to come across a rung that will require that you compromise your principles and morals. And unless you're willing to do so, you ain't going to go any farther up that ladder. And that's just the way it is. Anyway, okay, we only got about 15 seconds left on this here.
Let us build a coalition so strong, so united, so determined that no extremist movement can fracture it.
Extremist movement. Oh, I see. So if you criticize Israel and their activities and deeds, you are the extremist.
And above all, let us be bridge builders, unshakable, unapologetic, so that the next generation inherits a world defined not by hatred, but by humanity.
Oh, not by hatred. Oh, how do you feel about Muslims? You hate them, don't you? Yeah. And so you're going to annihilate them. This is it. Everything's crazy. Everything is crazy. Let me see. There was something else here. Oh, yeah. I wanted to share this with you. Last spring they had the celebration of Rosh Hashanah. And there was a woman, I don't know what her name is, but she was standing at the podium with some other Jews around her. And she made the following statement. Now listen to this. And again, now the real Jews believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The real Jews believe that Moses got the 10 Commandments from God Almighty. All right? And Moses was pretty pissed off when he came down and he found that the people had reverted to worshiping a calf. Okay? A bovine. A bull. Ball. Yeah, he wasn't too happy about that. But anyway, I digress. Here's, this was September 24th last year, coming up on the 1-year anniversary. Listen to what this woman says.
The greatest lie humanity tells itself is that we have outgrown human sacrifice.
What? Right there. We have start over again. Listen to that again. The greatest lie is what?
The greatest lie humanity tells itself is that we have outgrown human sacrifice.
Okay, there it is. Let that settle in. Take a breath. Now let's listen to some more.
We call it by different names now and make our offering to different gods.
Different gods? Wait a minute. Hold it. I thought there was only one God Almighty, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. What is she talking about?
We offer young men we call soldiers, as if the designation means that their mothers cry less when they die.
Oh, so so the soldiers are a form of human sacrifice.
We call masses of humanity collateral damage and turn our eyes away from the pictures of their lifeless bodies as we sip our morning coffee.
Boy, that sounds familiar, doesn't it? Yeah. Watching the morning news and seeing all of these explosions and people getting bombed and stuff like that. Hey, honey, would you pour me another cup of coffee? La, la, la.
And the truth is, we don't do it because we are heartless. We do it because we believe that it is necessary for the world to keep running.
I just can't believe this. I mean, I played this when it first happened last fall. But I mean, hearing it again is it's staggering.
We do it because we believe that the gods whose favor we so desperately seek,
gods,
freedom, security, prosperity, flourishing.
Gods, again, plural. How does that fit into the Torah?
That they demand blood as the price of their favor. We do it because we cannot see any other choice.
Wow.
And maybe that's why we read the Akedah, the binding of Isaac, on Rosh Hashanah. Because the story of the Akedah isn't about inconceivable obedience. When Abraham prepares to sacrifice Isaac, he is just accepting the same bargain of blood we still accept today.
Yeah, but he didn't do it. He stopped.
That some need to die for the world to flourish.
Yep, there it is. This is staggering, folks. It really is. Let me see. There was another rabbi here. Oh, and this is explaining this. Okay, I want to take another 30,000-foot view on this. Oh, I'll tell you what. Before I play this, got to take a quick break. Here we go.
Get More Tank will save you money every month on gas. Get More Tank is a tablet with active ingredients that adds big mileage to every tank. Made in America, the Get More Tank formula is used by trucking companies and heavy industry. Now the Get More Tank formula is available to you. Get More Tank works in any gas or diesel engine, cleans your engine, lowers emissions, and you'll feel improved engine performance every time you step on the gas. Get More Tank works for cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, four-wheelers, mowers, and blowers. Hey, if you got an engine, then Get More Tank. Contractors, electricians, plumbers, plumbers, painters, and lawn service companies, Get More Tank will save you money and extend the life of your engines. If you're an owner-operator running your big rig around the town or across the country, Get More Tank will save you money too. If you're a farmer, all of your equipment can use Get More Tank. A 5-pack on sale at GetMoreTank.com for just $22.22 plus shipping. Use the promo code REDPILL101 and get 10% off. Save your money, save your engine, save the earth at GetMoreTank.com. Get More Tank is EPA registered, doesn't void warranties, results vary.
And you can get More Tank by visiting our website, TheWTFReports.com. Click on the sponsors button. It'll take you down to an area where you can click on Get More Tank and learn all the specifications and details on how and why this fuel catalyst works. And by the way, I should mention that they have a $1 million insurance policy if anything happens to your vehicle because of Get More Tank. You know, because some people say, oh, I don't want to put that stuff. I don't know what that stuff is. It's going to ruin my car. Well, guess what? If it ruins your car, you got a lawsuit and they will pay. And they've never had to because it's never done anything wrong or bad to any vehicle. So you've got nothing to lose here, folks. Now, keep in mind that, number one, this is a fuel catalyst. It makes your fuel burn more efficiently at a lower temperature, which means it cleans out the engine. Okay, so it runs cleaner. That's good for the environment. Number two, in the process, you get more power. You know, when you hit the accelerator, boom, you go off. And then number three, after running a few tanks, your engine adjusts to its greater efficiency and you get more mileage. So that's money in your pocket. It doesn't make sense not to use Get More Tank. I've been using it now for a couple of years and I'm glad. Because, I want to keep my older car on the road. I don't want to buy a new car with all this electronic stuff. The new Toyotas have 16 cameras inside the cabin, scanning your face, your eyes, everything. You know, I don't want all that crap in my car. I want to keep my older car on the road. And that's another good reason why I'm using Get More Tank, and you should too. So, go to our website, TheWTFReports.com. Click on the sponsors button. And don't forget to use the promo code RedPill101 and Get More Tank. Okay, it's 37 and a half minutes past the hour, whatever hour you're sitting in, and the phone lines are open. You want to give me a call and join the conversation, you're welcome to do so. It's 215-867-8255. Okay, I'm going to see if I can take a 30,000-foot view on what's going on with this this situation that we've got with this war. Now, before the break, of course, I've been talking about the motto of the Israeli Mossad and the IDF. And this sounds like a commandment. By means of deception, thou shalt do war. Okay, keep that on the front burner. Now, we go to the different clips, audio clips, and let me see if I could pull one of them up here. Where would it be? Okay, yeah.
Sunday school
okay, stop. Okay, let me back this up a little bit. This is the very, very, very beginning of a little short documentary film called The Eighth Front. Now, right off the bat, you're going to hear Benjamin Netanyahu, and this is important stuff, folks. He says the quiet part out loud. He's asked, what book are you reading? Listen to this.
I think there's another revolution.
Okay, whoops. Okay, let's listen to this part, and then you'll hear that.
Coming. I tend to steer it along with the achievement of a broader peace. When history is within reach.
So what Israel is fighting here is not merely a seven-front war, but an eighth-front war.
Okay, listen right here. He's asked the question, what are you reading now?
So the Jews against Rome.
The Jews against Rome. Okay, so really? Oh, okay. Is that a story about what happened 2,000 years ago? All right, well, let's have him clarify what he means, the Jews against Rome.
Rome and Jerusalem clashed over values with a great tragedy for the Jewish people.
Yeah.
Well, we lost that one. We have to win the next one.
Okay, we lost that one. We have to win the next one. Which war is he talking about? The Jews against Rome.
But the new Rome, the United States.
The new Rome is the United States. Put that together now. Get that in your head. Now, keep in mind, this doesn't make any difference what you believe. Doesn't make any difference what I believe. What makes a difference is what they believe. Now, if he's saying it's the Jews against Rome, and Rome is the United States, and they believe that in order for their Messiah to return, they have to destroy Edom. Edom is the West. Edom is the United States. All right? So. If by means of deception thou shalt do war. There, he's just basically come out and said that they're going to war against Edom, which is the United States, against Rome. So how would they do that? By means of deception. All right? So let's apply this towards what's going on with the world political stage right now. Now, we're in this really screwed up situation in Iran. How did we get here? How did this happen? What was the first thing that happened the United States did? And by the way, yes, the United States of Israel. Because Israel feeds the United States intel. So it's the Israeli influence that basically governs what the United States does. The whole world knows this. This is not conspiracy theory. You need look no further than the membership of our own Congress and Senate and how many people are paid off by AIPAC and other Israeli lobbies. And that's what Charlie Kirk was trying to warn us all about. So the bottom line here is Israel gives the U.S. intel and says, hey, you need to strike that little school over there in Minab. So we go in there and we hit the school not once, not twice, but 3 times, triple tap. Not a double tap, but a triple tap. And that's what sort of kicked this whole thing off. Oh, and let's not forget about the B-2 bombers that went in there and took out those nuclear facilities that were supposedly building nuclear bombs. Of course, we have no way of knowing that, but that's what Israel told us. But the bottom line here is now we're up to our freaking eyeballs in a mess that just doesn't seem to be any way out. And we're getting reports from numerous sources now that our sailors on the battleships and on the aircraft carriers, they are running out of supplies and morale has hit an all-time low. I'll get to that in a couple seconds. But getting back to this issue about the Zionist Ashkenazi mentality that they must destroy the West, a.k.a. Edom, a.k.a. the United States. And by giving us bad intel, gotten us and the entire Western world into a crap storm, and it's a domino thing. I don't see that there's any logical way out of this mess, and it's going to suck all of the different countries that are being affected by the oil being cut off. And this isn't just the United States. Of course, it's going to be Europe. It's China. It's all of the Far East. This is a global monstrosity that's going on. But this is part of the plan of those who believe that they have to destroy Edom. And in fact, there's a rabbi by the name of Yom Tov Glasser, and he's basically saying that the moment America and Europe stop supporting the Jews, they will be brought to their knees and annihilated. Well, we see that's exactly what's happening now. Over 2/3 of Americans now condemn Israel, and of course they're not liking it, and that's why they're trying to label everybody as anti-Semitic Jew haters, but they're not the real Jews. Says so in John 8:44, and also in Revelation 2:9 and Revelation 3:9. Anyway, okay, let's grab a phone call here. Okay, jumping to the phones, I didn't even catch the phone number. Who dat? Who you? Where are you?
It's Mike. It's Mike from Connecticut.
Hey, how you doing, Mike?
Okay. Well, kind of going on with what you were talking about, but it isn't the Jews. So I have a men's group on Fridays.
Uh-huh.
And after the group, I was taken aside by the leader.
Okay.
And here's the problem. I told them the story about Massachusetts and several other Democratic states, I found out now, created an association within the government that is going to give all government jobs to people who are Muslim.
Yes, I saw that.
I also told them about the pastor, I think it was University of Santa Barbara, who was, the kids were all like defending the Muslim faith and saying, oh, we need to let them in. We need to give them positions. They need to be this. They need to be that. And he's like, yes. And then when they get in here and they're the majority, they're going to bring in Sharia law. Okay.
Yeah, Sharia.
And then they're going to come. Yes, Sharia. And they're going to come in and tell you, you need to join the Muslim faith. You can no longer be a Christian. And if you don't, they're going to chop your head off. People, this is what is in the Quran. This is their mission. They are a Trojan horse. Mm-hmm. So I brought this stuff up. And so the minister at the end said, Mike, I know you and I are on the same page. I get where you're coming from. I understand people need to know this, but you can't do it. You scare people away. We had more members, and it's getting fewer and fewer because you bring stuff like this up. You know,
okay.
They are not ready. They're babies. They're not ready for this. Because I understand where you're coming from, and you're absolutely right, and we all should be aware of it. But you're scaring people away.
Mm-hmm. Well, you see, you're making my point, and this is why I'm saying, you know, I started off this broadcast talking about all the different denominations of one religion. You know, there's lots of denominations of Christianity, lots of denominations of Muslim, lots of denominations of Jews. Okay, but the point is that when you take all three religions and they all disagree, you know, like I said, there's only one truth. Chances are they're all wrong. Christians are wrong. Jews are wrong. Muslims are wrong. Everybody's freaking wrong. They don't have all of the puzzle pieces, but they're willing to fight and die defending their particular belief. So,
but people, the Christians need to understand there is a war between Christianity, Muslims, and the Jewish faith. Mm-hmm. And it's all for who's going to survive. And I'm telling you right now, the Christian faith is not going to survive. I'm sorry, God's got me on fire, okay, right now about this. And this pastor that was saying, they're going to kill you. You are going to have to get on your hands and knees and accept Muhammad and the Muslim faith, or they're going to chop your head off.
Right. Well, if the Muslims aren't going to chop your head off, then the Ashkenazi Jews will chop your head off. I got this audio clip here. Let me quick play this. It's only about a minute and a half. This is Rabbi Yom Tov Glasser, and this basically supports everything that I was just saying. There is a war, and the war is against the Jews versus Edom. Okay, here's Rabbi Yom Tov Glasser.
Because the most powerful nations in the world have to go down to their knees. That's what happened to Egypt. That's what's going to happen to America. That's what's going to happen to Germany. That's what's going to happen to France. That's what's going to happen to London. England's going to happen to Poland. That's what's going to happen to Russia. That's what's going to happen to China. That's what's going to happen to North Korea and South Korea. That's what's going to happen in Japan. That's what's going to happen in Shanghai, in Taiwan.
That's the plan.
Yeah, but let me put another piece to this.
Okay.
And that is, this is going to be a legislative takeover. You think that the Socialist Democrats are going to be a problem? It is putting people in governmental positions from other countries. Mm-hmm. Now, can an American go to a third world country or even a European country or an Asian company and run for office? Migrate there, make it their residence, and run for office.
Right.
Absolutely not. They would never let that happen. But we do it here in the United States. You can come here from Somalia. You can hate the United States, swear your allegiance to Somalia, and get in an office of position of power. And when they get enough of these, that's when they change it to Sharia law. And that's their goal. People need to understand that is the goal. You need to stop it now. But instead, they're letting this happen.
Mm-hmm.
How blind.
Yeah.
Everybody has the scales on their eyes. We've talked about it before, and there's nothing that I can do or you can do other than shout it from the broadcasting rooftops that this is bad.
Well, you know, there are some folks that are going to defend the Muslims, and some folks are going to defend the Jews, and some folks are going to defend the Christians. And this is why I'm saying, and I said this months and months and months ago, that a holy war is on the horizon. As a matter of fact, let me share with you. I don't know if you heard this or not, but I don't know if you're familiar with Eric Moutsos. Eric Moutsos is a social media poster, and he puts out some really interesting stuff. And I thought that this applies to exactly what we're talking about right now. Give this a listen. This is Eric Moutsos.
Quick question. If most people that surround Donald Trump on a personal level with his businesses and people that are advising him politically were Muslim, do you think that people in America would be asking questions? Do you think the mainstream media, CNN, and especially Fox News, would be wondering if everybody that surrounded Donald Trump were Muslim, that questions would be asked? So my question is, why aren't we asking these questions?
Okay, I'm going to pause that. That's a terrifying concept to a lot of people. What if everybody around Donald Trump was Muslim? People would be they would be fouling their britches. But nobody says anything because they're all Jews. Listen to this.
Michael Glassner, Deputy Campaign Manager and National Political Director, Donald J. Trump for President. Special Advisor for Operations, Trump Presidential Transition Team, Ashkenazi Jew. Lawrence Glick, Executive Vice President of Strategic Development, the Trump Organization, Ashkenazi Jew. Jason Greenblatt, Executive Vice President and Chief Legal Officer, the Trump Organization, Co-Chairman, Israel Advisory Committee for Donald J. Trump. President Trump's Special Representative for International Negotiations, Ashkenazi Jew.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it because he just goes through all these members of the cabinet, all these advisors. Every single one is an Ashkenazi. Okay, and nobody's saying anything. So that's why I'm saying, there is a holy war that is very close on the horizon. We're going to see this coming to a head
It's
shortly.
happening now.
Yeah. But what I'm saying here is it's not obvious to the average American. They're just watching the baseball games, and watching the movies and stuff. Sooner or later, it's going to hit them right between the eyes, like when you hit the donkey with a 2x4 to get their attention. I mean, that's where we're heading.
It's too late.
That's
when
right.
When they realize it, it's too late.
Correct. Absolutely. So, I mean, this is...
That Antichrist is coming.
Well, I've also thought about that. Christians and Muslims have a common belief, and that is that the Antichrist is coming before the world will see peace. Now, on the other hand, the Jews feel that their Messiah cannot come and bring peace until they destroy Edom. So they have to destroy the world to bring in their Messiah. And the Christians and Muslims saying, oh, well, maybe that Messiah is the Antichrist. So, I mean, this is why I'm saying this whole thing about beliefs and religion, this is what religion itself is the problem. I mean, there's only one way to connect with the universal deity, the spirit, the whole thing. If you want to call it God, you want to call it whatever you want to call it, because there is no name that you could put on God. There's no word that we can say. I mean, yeah, people say it's Yahweh, Yeshua, whatever. The point is it's beyond the human's ability to perceive, beyond our perception. So if you want to try to, make it into a religion, say, well, you have to do this, you have to pray this way, you got to do that to be able to be in touch with God. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. My relationship with God is between me and God and nobody else. And that's the way it is with everybody else, because everybody's belief is different. We've all got belly buttons, and they're either innies or outies, and everybody's got one. Everybody has their own belief. So I don't know, maybe I'm being, utopian or naive or what have you, but I'm just seeing this whole world going to pot because of the fact that people are disagreeing with their particular spiritual beliefs, and nobody has got it 100% right. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, but this, you have to understand, this is the end times. I am thoroughly convinced we are now heading towards the middle of it. We don't have time left.
Right.
And we can change this. If we all get together, we can change it. But you know what? It's going to happen just as John said. It's going to happen. And we're going to live through it. And we're going to have to make individual choices. And right now, my choice is to shout from the rooftops about the local state governments giving Muslims priority and getting government positions over anybody else. Full-term birth abortion.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Putting Muslims in power. And these Muslims, I also don't understand how you talk to them, you meet them, they're nice people, they're doing their thing, blah, blah, blah. But in the end, their goal is to kill anyone that isn't converted.
Right.
They're not gonna change their faith because of us, because they thoroughly believe they're doing the right thing. And it's in the Bible. It's called persecution, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I don't know. I just had, it's just that after my men's group, when the leaders said, Mike, I get it. I know what you're talking about. Everybody should know about it, but they're babies. They can't handle what you're telling them. They shut right down and they quit.
Yep. Well, the thing is, you just explained what the Muslims believe. Well, these Ashkenazis believe the same thing. Rabbi Yosef Mizrahi was saying the same thing. We have to kill the children because they're going to grow up to be terrorists. So you got to kill all of them. Kill the goyim. Kill them. This is why I'm saying the whole world is in this mad dash towards annihilation. I don't know. Maybe this is God's way of clearing the deck again. He had to have a flood the first time to clear everything out. Well, maybe he's just going to let the humans do it to themselves. I don't know. We're living in crazy times. So, anyway,
I don't know what to tell you, but I just had to vent.
No, I'm glad that's what the point is. That's why I open up the phone lines. If it hadn't been you, hopefully it'd been somebody else. I'm venting right now. I'm going to rant. Luckily, I have a platform here with this little radio show. But I don't know if people can relate. That's great. But I just looked at the clock. We're almost out of time. Holy moly.
All right, I'll let you go then.
All right, Mike. Well, thank you for calling and being a participant in the program. I'll be in touch.
Welcome.
All right,
okay.
bye-bye. And like I was saying, Rabbi Mizrahi had this to say.
If you don't kill those supposedly innocent kids, what would happen later? This one will kill 50 Jews. They will become terrorists one way or the other. So that's what the Torah says. Someone is on the way to kill you now or in a year from now. You can kill him even now, a year before. You don't have to wait a minute before. But the point is right here that Hashem say, do not have mercy on the children. Kill all their children also. Why? There's no difference between them and their children. In 10 years from now, these children will attack you on the way. Hashem knows. God knows.
So he's saying kill the kids. That's what he's saying. This is what we're up against here. Anyway, well, speaking of up against it, we're up against the weekend, folks. Here it comes. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for the Friday edition of the WTF Reports. And if you're listening on BitChute or YouTube or Facebook yeah, right. Let me see. What did I leave out? BitChute. Rumble. There you go. You know what to do. Click like, share, subscribe, spread the word by word of mouth, and do some business with our advertisers. Help us keep the lights on here. All right, that said, the weekend is here, and thank goodness we've got some rain going on, clearing out the air, getting rid of the smoke here in the Northwest. We need a lot more of it. So until you hope you have a good weekend, stay safe, stay free. God bless you all, and God willing, I'll see you on Monday.